How's it? Today is Wednesday, May 28th, with some clean and jerk work today with some back squats. Started off today almost okay. I did not make all of my thrusters. I missed my first set, but nowhere near as many fails as last week, and that's good. Everything else was pretty standard. It was challenging. I did encounter some weirdness in my lower back on the panda pulls, and I don't know if that's gonna go away anytime soon. It doesn't feel like it's going to. But yeah, starting off here at thrusters, work up to a heavy double, so ideally over 100. But last week I didn't do 100 at all, and 2 weeks ago I was able to do 100 for a double. So my goal today was just do 100. That was my goal. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels so foreign to me. And I've been practicing them for this would be the third week now, right? Or third session that I've been really like trying to practice it. I know I tried to introduce them a little bit earlier in the year, right before the Russian squat routine got really crazy, and they were not fun. But I don't know. It just doesn't feel very like, look at this. It doesn't feel like I am strong enough to do it, even though I know I am. Like, my speed out of the bottom is really good. My positioning is just not good, right? Like, I'm too far behind on that, and I just got really frustrated. And so I come back and try again here. And this first one is a lot better than the first run on the first set. And then I don't know what you would call this. This is not a thruster. I would not call this a thruster, but it is like a push jerk thruster type. I don't know. It was not a true thruster, and I was like, given how bad last week was, that's already better. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm moving on. Moving on. Today was a long day, so I needed to make sure I didn't spend too much time on that. Went up to 111 kilos today for my power clean plus hang clean plus jerk complex. And these they're not like incredibly difficult. They're definitely not easy, but I feel like a lot of times my upper back just kind of feels the brunt of all of the weight. And that is to say that I might be a little bit behind positioning wise on the catch than I would ideally like to be. And, there's a lot of reasons why that might be happening. That could be just my height on the bar, or maybe I'm rushing, or I might be far away from the bar, or my arms might be not be pulling the way that I would like them to pull and whatnot. But here is 100. This is my last warm up. And another thing that I was kind of experiencing today was, as I was doing all of my hang cleans, it felt like I was borderline going to get stuck at the bottom to push out of the hole. Here's my first set at 111. And like, that's a power, but you can see there, like, that is my upper body starting to cave forward, and that's not a very strong position. I have like a ton of upper body flexion, and it's flexion at the spine, whereas like it could be flexion at the hip, and that flexion at the hip seems a little bit more reasonable. Flexion at the spine just feels like it's literally my spine just getting yanked forward a little bit because my elbows are not high enough, or because I'm too far away from the bar. But yeah, I don't miss any of these today, so that is a very, very good sign. I get to probably about this set, maybe the next set, and I'm thinking, I think I said this on Monday, but I'm like, how am I going to get through this whole workout? I still got pulls left, and I still got my back squats after that. And so I just might do my best to kind of get to a mental space where like I kind of zone out and then just do the movements and don't think too much far in advance. And I think it's weird because when you have complexes, you have to think in advance because you have to think, oh, what am I doing next? What am I expected to do for this next movement in this 3 exercise cluster? That was a really good power clean on my fourth set. So I'm like thinking, if I can't get to the hang clean, then I can't get to the jerk, right? So you have to have some amount of foresight to look ahead and just be able to execute the movement right in front of you. But I guess the bigger picture thing is I'm trying not to focus on two things ahead of me because I still have to get through the pulls and then I have to start doing my back squats. And I was looking at all these hang cleans, and when I'm pushing up with my legs there, all of these videos don't look like I'm struggling, but let me tell you, I'm struggling in my head, in my mental, and I'm like, am I gonna get stuck? Am I gonna get pinned? That's like the biggest thing I'm worried about. That was on those lifts. After that, I did some clean panda pulls here, and this right here is what I was talking about. My lower back on my right felt a little weird right here, and like I'm sitting down when I'm recording this, but like I'm feeling it right now, and it doesn't like I can feel it. It's been several hours since I've trained, and I feel like I feel like this is gonna be a problem tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. It did kind of get aggravated in some of these movements. I think the big point when it does get aggravated is when I go from like pulling the bar up as high as I can to right as it comes down back to my hips. That little jolt is pulling me slightly out of position every single time I do it. And I do 15 total reps where I feel like the first 6 don't really matter, and then the last 9 matter a lot, right? Because it gets heavier, and it just is just it's uncomfortable right now. I will let you know how it feels tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And then I'm also actually going to be going to LA. It was originally supposed to be tomorrow, but I'm going on Friday, and that means I'm going to sit in a car for 6-7 hours. I'm not looking forward to the drive, but yeah, there's like a music festival that my girlfriend wanted to go to, so we're going. I'm actually really excited. Get to spend time with her and go to make new memories and stuff like that. After my pulls, I moved into my back squats, and now it's the time where like it's starting to get heavy. For when I was doing sets of 10, I put my belt down at 125. But because my coach told me not to use the belt, then I was just, okay, I'm not going to use the belt. So I'm starting to get into that weight range where I definitely could use the belt and like it would help me tremendously. But I'm trying my best not to let it get to my head. Just think about the things that are in front of me and don't try to move beyond that. But one thing I did recognize today was it's like I almost didn't know how to squat for a while. There's like actually a few reps here where the bar starts a little bit higher on my shoulders than it ends on my shoulders, if that makes sense. So like I push it a little bit closer to my neck, and then as the set goes on, it kind of rolls down back to a certain positioning on my upper back that's actually a little bit more comfortable. And it just feels weird because I haven't squatted like heavy since I stopped doing the Russian squat routine. And at that point, I was squatting 3 times a week, like very heavy, very high intensity, very high volume. And now it's like I am pretty low volume relative to that. I mean, 3 5s is still pretty good, but like relatively, I did six sixes at 140, 148 on that stupid complex, or not complex, but stupid program. But um, Steve said the goal is to get back to around 157 ish for three sets of five in the future, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for today. Today was a very long one, and I'm happy I made it through. So thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.